Hello, it's Tuesday night. I was going to update earlier today. Forgot. Earlier today, I finished reading The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This is 650 pages. 650 pages! Why is it 650 pages? Because Mariana Zapata can really drag scenes and things out. The first 100 pages were a lot of it was musings, 100 pages from our main character, Vanessa. It really didn't pick up until then, 150 plus pages. And honestly, it only really picked up for me whenever Aiden was there, our love interest. And it is really slow burn. This is slow burn. If you're looking for a super slow burn romance, this is it. This is what you're looking for. It's so slow burn. I appreciated it though. I appreciated the slowness of the buildup of the relationship between the two characters. It's not even like they had tension and chemistry from the beginning. They didn't. They actually, it's not that they dislike each other, it's more that they're indifferent, especially with Aiden's reaction towards her. And the way he just treats her is very indifferent, they barely talk at all. And there weren't really a lot of really high tension in the beginning. Even throughout the book, there were only some scenes that had really great tension between them. But then it's the build-up of their relationship really throughout the book. And we didn't I finished it still, But Mariana Zapata's writing, I had to stop a few times. I guess it's not for me. Because one, she dragged things out a lot. And two, she had this weird way of phrasing things or describing things that I would stop sometimes and be like, what is she describing? What? Why would she use that word? It's you know how you're trying to make things longer, so you use a longer term, or you could use one simple word to use something, or a simple term. She'll use something different, and I'm just why couldn't she just say it in what it is? Why? It's when you're writing an essay and you're trying to make it longer character wise and word wise. That's how it felt to me. So I mean, I still read it. It's not I had a hard time. I was just taken aback sometimes. I had to pause and be what? What did she, what? And there's a lot of mention of losing weight and gaining weight, which could be triggering for some people. To me, I really notice it because I'm very sensitive to those topics. She would mention, I gained 10 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, lost 15 pounds. And she talked about her clothing and how they fit and all that. So it can be a little bit triggering to someone who is very conscious about that. So, and then there's this one scene where the guy, Aiden, was groped by a fan, and she thought it was so funny. And she was laughing, and she couldn't control herself from finding it so funny. And then she even asked at the end of that scene, does that happen often? It was huh? What? If, I don't know, if you were in that position, would you laugh at somebody who just got groped by a fan who asked for a picture? I wouldn't. I would ask, I don't know. It's not even a difference in how you would react to certain things. Just it's the whole situation, the entire situation is just not something anybody should find funny, because somebody just got sexually harassed in front of you and you thought it was funny. Yeah. So, just a few things here and there that I didn't enjoy. I loved Aiden though. I really liked him. There was a lot of frustration in the beginning because I feel like they just couldn't fit with each other. They're still trying to get to know each other, and there's a lot of frustration in terms of them actually talking and hashing things out. Because she has, I guess, anger issues. We are reading from her perspective, and so she sometimes, when she gets frustrated, she would count down in her head to try to rein her anger in. She does that throughout the book, while Aiden is very nonchalant, very indifferent, very cold, and not very talkative. So it can get really frustrating, and sometimes, he's a bit broody, but he won't really talk to you, so it can get really frustrating, which I felt. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, I had fun reading it. I really, again, the way the relationship was developed was okay. It was good. I liked it. I loved the slow burnness of it. I loved Aiden. I was a bit frustrated with him at the beginning, but I really like him. Vanessa, I liked her, I did. Some, here and there issues. I love the friendship between her and Zach. Yeah, it was fine. I don't know if I'm gonna read another Mariana Zapata books because a lot of people loved her book, and it was fine for me. It was okay. So I don't know, maybe I'll try one or two more. Although really at this time, like this book is one of her like most loved books, but I just don't like. I didn't enjoy it as much as other people did. It's not bad, but I don't know. I guess the writing is just for me. Just isn't for me. And then I'm reading right now The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Her. So this is by a Korean author, and this is set in 1426 Joseon era, or 1426 in Korea, South Korea. And we are following here, I think her name's Min Hwani. So she and her sister got lost when she was very young, when they were both very young, and they were found unconscious in the forest next to a body of a woman who committed suicide. She doesn't remember what happened. Her sister has very vague memories of the night, but she doesn't remember anything that happened that night and why and what happened then. This happened in Jeju Island, that one. They used to live in Jeju Island. A few years later, their father is actually a police investigator. He goes back to Jeju Island to investigate this case of a string of girls missing. So like 13 girls went missing in Jeju Island. He went to investigate there. He disappeared and they couldn't find him. And 2 years later, our main character Hwani goes back to Jeju Island to try and investigate and find her father. And she meets her sister, her estranged sister. She discovers that there might be a tie to what happened to them when they were very young, when they disappeared. I am 90 pages in so far, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far. We're already getting into the case already, so yeah, I'll read this tonight and then update you guys at the end of it. Hi, I'm currently exporting a video right now. The main character is very kind of dumb. I don't know, I feel like she doesn't understand fully the level of danger that she's in. Like, I feel like she should have already realized it at this point, or I'm halfway through. After everything that has happened, she should have realized how dangerous it is, and she's just throwing herself out there. So she found a powder, right? And she thought that it was poison. So she smelled it. She was like, oh, it doesn't smell like anything. And she decides to try it. Who tries what they think is poison? Why? Like, what's the point? And so if it is poison, now you're dying. I'm just so confused. Like, why would she do that? That's on top of other things that she has decided to do. I don't get it. Hello. So a couple of updates. I finished Forest of Stolen Girls by June Her. This was... okay. I appreciated the exploration of the different relationship between the families here, especially our two main characters. So we have... well, our main character is Hwani, and she's the elder sister. Okay, and then we have Ewon, who is the younger daughter, and then their father, Inspector Min, or Detective Min. Yeah, Detective Min. I love the exploration of the complicated relationship that they have with each other and the way they kind of show their love differently to their family members, and you know, the things that over the years have gone unspoken, undiscussed, and like kind of like swept under the rug kind of thing. Especially with the past that they have with the two sisters going missing one day and waking up to find them beside a corpse, and their father now going missing and going back to Jeju Island, where the younger daughter has had to stay with the sisters estranged as well. And you know, in the 5 years in between, there was no communication, or like barely any communication between the two sisters. I didn't really enjoy following the main character, Hwani, because she's supposed to be like the super smart sister and very sharp like her father. Like, she's like a detective on her own. But she goes and makes like these really dangerous, reckless decisions in her investigation to try to find out the culprit, to the point that it's like she wants to get caught. And it's like, it's impossible for her not to get caught because of the things that she's doing. And it's like, how are you... I didn't understand how she was still like not offed by the killer. Like, because she's obviously investigating. She's obviously sniffing around. She's not being very delicate about it. She's not being very careful about it. And she puts herself in like these really dangerous situations where she has this suspect. The suspect, okay, and the suspect is someone who you think killed 13 girls and your father, and it's like you're putting yourself right in front of their way. Like, what do you expect will happen? Anyway, so there was a lot of decisions throughout the book that I'm just like, Yeah, no, no. That was really reckless and impulsive, dangerous. So, but I know that this is based on really historical events where girls from Korea are taken, well, Goryeo from, it was called Goryeo before, or Joseon, and then Joseon. They're taken to the Ming Dynasty to be tributes to the dynasty, and back then the Mongol rule as well, to the Mongols. And I've heard about it because of Empress Ki. Empress Ki was actually mentioned in the author's note as well, because she was one of the girls from Korea who were taken to the Ming Dynasty as true. I know about that part of the history in Korea as well, and that's why the premise sounded like really familiar to me, with the girls going missing, and especially like the first part where it was mentioned that they have to hide whenever they're like officials looking for girls, for daughters in families, because it was during that time that whenever there is a daughter, when one or all of the daughters are going to be sent to the Ming Dynasty if they were found, especially if they were beautiful. The atmosphere is great though, actually very reminiscent of her first book, or the first book that I read from her, called The Silence of Bones. I think that was her first book, that was her debut book, and that was very atmospheric too, and that was also murder mystery thriller kind of genre, and also YA, but I enjoyed that one a little bit more. And there's also family relationship aspect element to it, that one. I think murder, like the mystery part, I really enjoyed more on that book, but here what I really appreciate is the family relationships that were explored. Okay, and then the next one that I will be reading is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. So I will be reading the entire trilogy. First book is this one, and then I have Kingdom of Copper and then Empire of Gold. Very excited, very looking forward to this. And I won a Goodreads giveaway. I've been joining Goodreads giveaway ever since I moved here to the States. Actually, even back then when I was still in the Philippines, but only like the international ones. But since I moved here, I've been joining a lot of giveaways from Goodreads. I've been joining for 3 years now, and I would join minimum of 5 every week. I finally won one, and this Payback's a Witch by Nana Harper. I've been hearing a lot of talk about this one. Half really enjoyed this book, and the other half were like, it was fine, it was a little bit boring. But this one is The Uncorrected Proof. This already came out 5th October, so at this point it's been 8 days, so more than a week ago when this came out. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to this one. And I know this is sapphic. I know obviously there's witches and hexes. Very excited for this one because I love witches. And then I got a couple of books from Target because they have this ongoing buy 2 get 1 sale. I know I shouldn't be buying books, but I couldn't help myself. Okay, so the first one is Picture of Dorian Gray, classic, but I wanted to read this one, and I have this like leather bound edition. I thought this was going to be like cloth bound or like paper, but I really liked like the cover, so I wanted to get this edition. And I thought it was going to be longer, but it's not. I mean, the font is small, but it's still shorter than I expected. It's under 200 pages. What? Okay. And then Christina Lauren's Love and Other Words. I already read this one. I loved it, and I wanted to get my own copy because I just love that book so much. It's like a love story. Very painful, very emotional, but. And another Christina Lauren book is Autobiography. This is their YA coming of age book. They usually write adult contemporary romances, but I know that this is also queer. I've heard a lot of really good things about this one too, so. And I love the cover, look at that. It's a book. So cute, right? And then I don't know if you can see it from here. No, you can't. I recently got the first book in this series. Oh, it's right there. You can't see it because that guy from, I think he's from Kingdom of the Wicked. Wrath? Is that his name? It's covering him. It's covering the book. Oh, there we go. So that is Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, and I got the next 3 books in the series. I know there are 5 so far, I think. I don't know which one comes first, actually. Let me see if there's a list in front. So, okay. First one is Serpents, and then what's the next one? Serpents, Basilisk, and Drakes. Okay, so I have the Tropic of Serpents, Voyage of Basilisks, and A Labyrinth of Drakes. Been wanting to read this one. Heard really great things about this. And I know there's one more book that is out, although it actually looks different. It's actually, because as you notice, these are all like white light colors. One is black. Why isn't it matching? So I'm like waiting, maybe it's like a different edition or something. So, and the price is like really different from these. I think these are all like 12 below, and then that one was like 17. It's paperback, and I'm like, maybe it's a different edition. I didn't get it for now, so these three, and then I have another set of books trilogy. So this is The Famous Files by Sylvain Neuvel. First book is Sleeping Giants, Waking Gods, and Only Humans. So this is a sci-fi type of book, and I love the really bright spines. And I've heard really good things about this one. Well, I think like the first book is the best, and the second and the third were a little bit, okay. But overall, I heard it's a really overall really great trilogy series. And then the last one is For Now, Ace by Angelo Chan. So this is a nonfiction book about asexuality. So it says Ace, what asexuality reveals about desire, society, and the meaning of sex. I've heard that this is a really great book for those wanting to learn about the ace spectrum, and it is something that I do want to learn more about, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one because I've been slowly learning a little bit over time about asexuality, and I learned how really broad and wide it is. So I've been wanting to get an actual book on it, and then I saw this one. So those are the ones that I've received today. I know it's a lot of book, but yeah, that's it for my update for right now. I will be starting City of Brass a little bit because I'm about to go to sleep, and a little bit tomorrow because I am going to work also, but definitely looking forward to reading that. I'm very excited. Kind of. I don't want to read it yet, but I also want to read it, kind of thing. Yeah, that's it for right now, and I will update you guys tomorrow. Hello, it is Saturday night. I'm about 70% of the way through City of Brass. I think this is my first update for this book, and I'm really enjoying this so far. It has a very unique and complicated history within this story. There's devas who are jinns, but there are some devas who don't like to be called jinns, and there was a war before that ended up with the devas, a different I guess races or kinds of devas to kind of separate with different tribes, and there's the Suleiman, and it's a very complicated history. And I was a little bit lost in the beginning, but I think I have a pretty good idea of the standing in here. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to read. It's a lot. It's 500 plus pages, and it is huge, and the font isn't it's small too. But so far I'm really enjoying it. It's not hard to read at all, and I will be finishing this tonight and then maybe start the Empire of Gold? No, Kingdom of Copper, because I'm very much invested. It's not super action-packed, especially right now at this point in the book. There's a little bit of a lull, but I don't think it's boring. Just that there's not a lot of action happening. But I am very curious to see where the story will go with our characters, because it's dual perspective, but we have a lot of really important characters in here that feel like will make really pivotal decisions that will affect the overall plot. I'm not really sure where the story really is going at this point now, but I'm definitely interested in finding out. I'm very excited. I'm really enjoying it. I think I listened about 30% of it in audiobook. An audiobook is 20 hours long, by the way. And I think the next two books are 22 hours long each. So, they're very long books, but I really appreciate them because I'm really enjoying the story. I really appreciate this one because it's a really good story. Again, I don't find myself bored at all. So I will be updating you guys at the end of the day once I finish this book. I finished it. Oh my gosh. It's so good. It's so good. This is just... the world is so complex. It is a bit confusing, especially in the beginning, the world building and stuff. And the really complicated long history of the Devas and the tribes and the Suleimans with the humans, etc. It's a lot. But this entire thing is so good. Obviously, there's a little bit of politics here because we're following Nari as she goes to Devabad and gets taken in by basically the royal family, the rulers of Devabad, and who oversees the Devas, or the different Deva tribes. And she's, Nahid, who were the previous rulers of Devabad before they were overthrown by the current royal family, the Katanis. And they are treated as really very important to the society of Devabad, as they are also healers. They are very strong and powerful. So with her being pretty much the last Nahid that they didn't know existed. She's treated like, you know, the most important person there. But obviously, with her being alive and what it means for her to be alive as the last Nahid, and with a king, the two princes, there's a lot of politicking going on. And there's also the question of Dara and how he's still alive and sane after years, and them not knowing that he's also still alive, and you know what happened to him, etc. And also with the rebellion, possible rebellion of the Shafit, who are the half Deva or half Jinn. It's very complicated. There's a lot of things happening, and I'm just having so much fun reading it. And I love following our main character because she's a con woman, right? So she's very smart. And with her like natural abilities of learning any language that she hears, and you know, her ability to heal her own self and to, you know, find what ails other people, and the fact that she has to hide her abilities because she didn't know, you know, what she was, but she knew that her abilities were very different, and she's lived her life, her 20-ish life, hiding that, but also being a con woman, and then I'm finding out that she's this like last member of this like very important ruling noble tribe of devas. It's a lot. Again, she's very smart, but we can see her like struggle with her finding out who she really is and what it means to be her, and then suddenly like having this pressure from the people around her to be what they expect her to be as Nahid. And then with Udara as well, her relationship with him, and the relationship with the royal family, because the Shafit or the Afshin are like were enslaved by the Nahids, so they have to follow everything that the Nahid will tell them, that their Nahid tells them to do, and they're warriors, and he's like this really like legendary warrior called the Scourge. It's a lot of things, and I love following our different characters. Ali as well, our Prince Ali, who is the second son. He is a scholar, he loves learning, very smart, but also a very skilled warrior, and is very sympathetic to the Shafit. It's a lot, it's very complicated, and especially with what happened at the end. I think it might be confusing for people who have not heard what this is about, and you know, or have read this, because it's a lot. It's epic fantasy, it's adult epic fantasy. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I love it so much. I will always obviously be continuing reading this. It's so good. So yeah, that is it for this vlog. I have like a few more at the end because it's like an extra like prologue at the end for City of Brass. I will read that and pick up Kingdom of Copper tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen in the next book because we really left off at a very complicated point, like a really great cliffhanger. It ended in a really good way in that we finished what happened in this book, but there are like more questions now and more things that were revealed at the end. But again, we ended at a very good point, especially with where Nari is now, and I'm looking forward to learning more about what happened to Ali at the end of this, because yeah, that is it for this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. We had a very mixed bag this week, but we ended on a really good note. This is the reason why this is one of my like the Deva Bud trilogy is one of my highly anticipated books, because I know I'm gonna love it. I just knew. So yeah, that's it for this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you on my next one.